coming in here, replacing starting, they get closer towards their main roster. They get to have that control again from the mid lane, being able to have a mechanically strong player with a chance to make those big plays to turn the game around.
Yeah, and of course, Hoon, he mentioned, steps up when the pressure is on as well, so the pressure is definitely on today. Elimination match for all of these teams, tournament lives online, and you know, you set out the stakes very well here, granted, but I do believe there's one more stake we have to consider. This would be a second win at Icons, right?
Oh, wow.
That's something.
That's something. I don't know what you're trying to do here, Omo.
It's pretty big. I'm trying to be complimentary, but
I don't know, Omo. This is like kind of backhanded, like from you, especially. I don't know if Immortals can accept that.
Well, let's see if Immortals. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that one. But Lucian Senna, off to a good start here. We saw the power of Senna Nasus in the last game from the Flash Wolves. That means Lucian will be going solo lane for Hoon or Zello. I expect going to Hoon, potentially flexing it into the Cocky matchup. So far this entire tournament, we've seen the Cocky win the side of the matchup.
You left this up? You left this up? Against Mana Frieze?
Let's see if Immortals have an answer to that then.
Surely. They must have something in mind.
They know it's coming.
Anyone could have seen this one coming.
It's one of his most impactful picks for people new to Liberty, for people new to the Mana Frieze trash. He's going to be a playmaker with it. He's going to be all over the map with it. And Kinzin on that Olaf as well. That's going to be a very strong dynamic duo for the Liberty jungle support.
I mean, a big part of this was also Immortals banning away the Karma and Yuumi, taking away a lot of the power and agency for the Olaf. That being said, there are still options available. They've left open the Thresh, and that gives the chance over the Mana Frieze to find work done. Immortals, on the other hand, they have some skilling going on. We've seen how well Senna Nasus was able to get into the late game. Immortals would not pick up the Nasus yet. They go for the Kha'Zix first instead.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting draft scenario playing out for Immortals right now. Kha'Zix is a good matchup into the Olaf. You can isolate the Cocky too. It's a good pickup all in all. But if you think about what you really want right now on the side of IMT, you need to pick up two things. One, a combo pairing with Senna. They have options for that. There's 3 picks available.
Sure.
But they also need to pick up some sort of frontliner to run it with the team that will likely be up to Zello. Maybe a Wukong run back.
Highly specified preparation against Liberty with the Veigar, man.
Yeah, Veigar is a thing that's getting banned now at Icons. That's where we are in the meta right now.
That's what life is. That's what reality is. And you know what? It's actually been winning games. So
yeah, it nearly beat FPX.
It nearly beat FPX.
Tiny Master of Evil. Sleeper pick perhaps at Icons. We'll have to see, but not this game. Senna Nasus not going to be available. Senna Gragas, Senna Galio. Both still options for Gume and Charm. Let's see
even
what they
Senna
want to
Set, depending on how far down the ladder you want to go
sure,
to.
But
if
they
are
don't
tanks,
have to, Yeah.
Against the Olaf, it's a lot less value, for sure.
I think this is good. Liberty identify correctly that, you know what, if we ban Galio, he plays Gragas. We ban Gragas, he plays Galio. So as long as we get rid of the Nasus, we're good to go.
There we go. The Greg is likely in the pairing together with the Senna. Liberty, they still have a couple more picks to try and go for. Might be a bot laner, might be a mid laner, but also that Baron side. What do they want to try and play for, right? Freaks, he's had some good mechanical moments, but they've alternated him between the tanks and the bruises and the hyper carries. So we'll have to see what Liberty want to try and go for in game number 1.
Let's see indeed. There's a lot open for Liberty right now. They have a lot of options with their draft. That's good. It's a very flexible draft setup. Only thing I think they would be concerned about is they need dive buddies for Olaf. You don't want Olaf to be running in dry here. He doesn't have an enchanted to support him, so he needs a dive buddy instead. He gets that in the form of the Riven. And the package, well, you can count that too.
The Riven comes in to give some support over Liberty, so it's not just going to be the Olaf alone. Immortals are looking to see how they want to respond with their last pick as well after seeing what Liberty have in store for them. Yeah. Liberty coming into this.
Okay.
With the Orianna, all right, something interesting. Some control mage, potentially. Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily say which side it's going. It could be mids or bots still, I think.
Yeah, I kind of like this, but I kind of don't like this. Let's try to break this one down a little bit, right? What's good about the Orianna pickup? You finally have some support for the Olaf. You're not an Enchanter, but you can put the shield on him. You can speed him up. If he runs in, you can shockwave off of the Olaf. Problem is, Orianna has a really tough matchup into Lucian in the early stages that could potentially let Lapmon and Hoon take over the game. And we've heard a lot of good things about Hoon. Now his debut on the Icons Global Championship stage. Let's see what he can pull off here.
Yeah, especially with that high damage shots. You talked about Zello, talked about Charm.
Yeah.
They will have quite a bit of agency, but a lot of the damage will come from Lemon and Hoon.
I actually really like
Immortals. Here we have it. Game number 1 starting off against Liberty. And we have so many expectations. Hoon making his debut on an international stage. He's working on a champion that has a lot of playmaking potential. But at the same time, we've seen how it can deviate. If you go for the Hullbreaker, you're looking to try and play for the side instead.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to go for here. I'm not a big fan of the Hullbreaker Lucian, but sometimes it is a necessity. Fortunately, he's not playing against Hullbreaker Koki. We'll be side laning likely against Orianna. Marksman Koki won't be going for the Hullbreaker, thankfully, so we're good to go here. And now we see that both Dragon Laners jostling for control over the wave. It's extremely close right now.
We saw a good amount of damage from Triple V's Corki in game number 2 and even in game 3.
Nice trade.
Wasn't as far ahead, but still had quite a bit. And so maybe some late game scaling options there for Liberty. Let's talk a little bit about what we kind of expect here. Very early on, they really showed their hand with the Olaf. Immortals respond with the Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
And we know how much of an impactful player Kinzen can be when he gets ahead. What a Liberty can try and get done with the Olaf.
Oh, that hook, Manafrize starts things off strong.
I mean, that's exactly what we expect here from Manafrize on the Thresh. The exhaust will prevent a kill from coming across, but Liberty,
Man,
start off with control.
That hook just curved behind the minion wave there. IMT starting off a little bit on the back foot. I think if you look at both of these team comps, they've got a lot of power in the early game. Olaf gives you a lot of power, Trash gives you a lot of power, package timings as well on the side of Liberty. But the counterpoint is you then have the scaling from the Koki, you have the scaling from the Orianna, and we know what late game Riven can do. We've seen it from Zhong earlier today as well. On the side of IMT, Garen's extremely tanky in the late game. He cannot be killed, I think, by most champions on the side of Liberty. And of course, you've got the Senna scaling. It's not a Senna Nasa, sure, but Gragas is going to get very tanky as well.
But we have some side laning power from Liberty here as well, right? Zello, while he might be quite tanky, is going to look to try and be with the rest of his team. And so you could see like the Freaks off in the side lane by himself, maybe even Kinzen off in the side lane.
If you're wondering why the Garen into a Riven is a good matchup, you just saw why. Once you get Silence, Riven has like 5 spells, 6 spells, but you can't use a single one of them. You can't weave autos behind your spells because you're silenced. If you try to trade back on Garen, he pops his second skill, he walks away.
Immortals will go into this early game in a very even state, pulling just ever so slightly ahead. But let's start talking about and setting up for what happens in the next couple of minutes.
Oh my goodness. There were 3 creeps there and Hood missed all of them. And then he called them. Okay. Did he even get the last cannon?
That's not the point here, Omo. That's not the point. The point is...
It's not important, but it's just something you see and you're like, unfortunate.
The point is...
Yes, what is the point, Grandin? Fill me in here.
What happens?
Nothing?
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're in a pretty chill game state right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
We're in a pretty chill game state right now. We've already established neither one of these teams really feel a need to make a play. You have decent scaling on both of these teams. You're happy waiting for the first objective spawns to come up. And we saw as well, game 3 between Flash Wolves and BRU. When you're in an elimination game, you tend to play a little bit slower. You tend to be a bit more cautious because your life is on the line here. Both of these teams know it. And game 1 between Liberty and Immortals starting off a little bit slower.
I mean, this makes perfect sense when I look at Immortals, right? You have Gumi and Chom in the bot side, you have the Santa Gragas, it's going to keep scaling, it's going to keep going. Of course, you're going to have more damage with Ledmon later on. But on the side of Liberty, do they manage to keep up? Do they manage to hold on and scale just as well as the Immortals do?
I think the concern for Liberty really comes from the Olaf. That's a champion that gets completely outscaled later on in the game. You could make an argument that Hoon's Lucian will also fall off in scaling, but culling will always be a long-range tool available to you. Now they're setting up for a dive on Zello, but they know this on the side of IMP. They have the Dawning Shadows. They have backup coming.
Yeah, 3 towards the top end, but Immortals know this is coming, and so they sent Ledmon and Gumi up to the top side.
Yeah, just a pretty slow game state so far. Hoon did indeed pick up the Hullbreaker, and that's going to be a pretty unmatched Lucian on the side lane. I think he's pretty happy playing into either Orianna or Riven at this point in the game, so Hoon should be a consistent pressure point for the Immortal squad now.
I think I already saw Kangus's shaver for his beard.
Okay.
I think he
you
has
have no
it with
faith
him.
in Lucian?
No, I'm just saying I think he has it with him.
He has it with him. I've seen it.
Yeah. I think he's ready.
You have to be mentally prepared. I don't
hope you never have to use it, right?
Hopefully you never have to use it. Yeah, exactly. Have it, but hope you don't have to use it.
You saved it for quite a while.
20 seconds right now till the first set of objective spawns. 4 items getting completed from both of these teams, but Immortals do have 2 sets of Hullbreakers. That means that team fighting prowess a little bit lacking.
There we go. I mean, it's kind of what we expected when you have the mid Lucian, the Hullbreaker comes through.
Yeah, but then Garen shouldn't pick up Howlbreaker. I mean, I just never really like having 2 Howlbreakers because you can't 1-3-1 forever. You have to fight for objectives.
There we go. You're so far ahead that you will 1-3-1, and you get grouped back up as 5, and then you win the game.
Well, Latmon is starting off the Dragon, and Liberty are way too slow. Where are Liberty?
They have plenty of vision
Where are
around
you,
this,
Liberty?
though. Boss is over by the bot side. Now he has the package, but it looks like IMT will pick up this Dragon in time. There we go.
But Liberty are just starting off the Rift Herald, and Immortals have already finished the Dragon.
But
Immortals don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Immortals are here to try and contest this as well. Rift Herald should just go over.
But they
to
do
Liberty.
know there's a ward. But why? It's a bit unfortunate. I feel
We
like
don't fight early. We don't fight. That's not what we do.
We're chilling out here.
We're chilling out.
It's a bit of a change of pace considering the bloodbath that we saw in the last series. Both teams unwilling to give up a single objectives, and now gentleman's agreement. We're seeing a handshake between Liberty and Immortals. We're going to come down to the late game scaling, I believe, here.
They were fighting for a lot there last game. Yeah. Now it's just who gets stuff done.
But this is good news for Immortals, at least in the context of the current game state, because double Howlbreaker means they are happy playing you on the side lanes. They're just going to try to trade, and eke out an advantage somewhere.
Oh, wait, you said last game that you hate slow games.
I do.
So what's happening now?
No, I still hate it. I'm just trying to make it sound like I don't hate it. But slow games
Well, you're
are
convincing
the
me.
worst. We're here to embrace the wild side. Where's the wild side, boys?
The wild side is that there are no kills at 6.5 minutes.
That is pretty wild, actually. It is pretty wild. It's not a WCK team either.
Yeah, no one has made like an accidental misstep. As I say that, maybe Hoon.
His backup is here. Charm is waiting in the wings, keeping Hoon safe. Pretty tanky on that Gragas already to start things off.
And there, just like that, Liberty and Immortals reset back to an even state.
I'm in pain right now, granted. The good news is there is a Rift Herald for Kinzin. He is trying to find a way to use it. Hoon playing on the edges right now. Love this from Hoon. So smart, just clearing out the way for the culling. He knew Kinzin wants to drop the Herald, and he just says no.
Yeah. Drops the culling, gets it done, clears out the wave. Liberty looking for round 2 in the top side. Immortals on
Garen's
the
not
hunt to
gonna
respond
lose.
as well.
Yeah, Garen's not going to die here. You have the Dawning Shadows to back him up as well. So far, so good for Hoon. Pretty smart play so far. Not exactly making any miraculous plays happen, but it's still early.
Is this what your podcast with TJ is like? It's just a whole bunch of waiting?
He likes the waiting, I don't.
He likes the waiting.
But he ends up waiting for me because I'm always late, so it works out.
So it's not that he likes the waiting, but he has no choice but to wait.
Well, I do believe he likes slow games as well, so he probably likes waiting too.
That's a stretch.
I mean, I don't need to justify it to myself because I'm going to be late regardless, but that's how I justify it to myself.
Neither side really able to find much of an advantage. I mean, the pressure is truly on at this point. Liberty, we've seen Haladiv play much more aggressive in some of the other games. A lot of respect shown here to Immortals.
Grandin, do you remember Farmville?
Sure.
Oh, are you too young for that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just making that reference for no reason at all. This game is definitely not a reference to that at all. This game state, I mean.
I mean, why not just say this like an idle sim?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're giving me too much credit here.
It seems a little
spell out those words.
like an easier, more concise way to condense the idea.
Okay, but maybe some action.
The flash away by Fenner Freeze.
This could be a dive.
Lemon looking for an angle, but the Valkyrie away. Finally, first turret going down. Immortals with a pickup.
Let's go, Immortals! And now
So
Kinzin
exciting.
Charm. Oh, okay, Righteous Glory is gone. Now he's gonna rip Arrow in the mid lane, but the Charm is gonna come in and he's gonna bop it away. They're not gonna lose the turret, they're just gonna lose 2 plates.
Trading back, knocking back the Rift Herald. Shockwave on the 3 members. Immortals still looking for that. Oh no!
Oh no, so close.
Gets the charge off in the end.
I feel like Charm outed a little bit too early there.
Right.
He could wait for Rift Herald to start the animation and then out it, and I think that gives you maximum downtime.
I'm not sure I saw the body slam. I think it might have been cancelled away.
No clue. By the Shockwave, maybe, yeah. Good
Up
catch.
towards the top side, and they have a lot of people here, but won't be able to get it done.
Nothing's happening.
My goodness, this is it. This is the exciting gameplay we've been waiting for. Kona versus the turret. Charm defending against it. Charm cannot save the turret. There we go.
Let's go.
Liberty with a turret pickup.
Now it's 1 kill apiece on the turrets. This could be
Immortals
it.
chasing after Gil onto Freaks. Freaks flashes over the wall. Hoon on the pursuit. Chases after piercing light, but back
No.
towards safety. Hoon pursues on and gets the first
Granted,
kill.
you're not excited
onto
enough. That's
Immortals.
first blood for Hoon on his debut. Man, what a party pooper out here. Harrow gets started though. Maybe some action?
Yeah, Freaks
Maybe?
late to respond.
Okay.
It looks like Liberty give this one
Yeah.
away.
They're gonna give up the dragon as well too, mark my words. I feel it in my bones. Liberty are gonna give up
You're
the
right.
dragon.
I should have been more hyped for that, Hoon.
Yeah!
Got
That
it.
first blood could have been the highlight here, Grandin.
The first and only kill of the game, potentially.
But Hoon definitely showing
No.
off some good mechanics to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is despite the Howlbreaker pickup. You know, he's going to do a little bit less damage.
They're
when he's
contesting, they're
pressing.
contesting, we're gonna fight!
Liberty now in a position to try and go for this. It will go over to Liberty as they pick up the first kill back on the Hoon. Redemption will not save it. Immortals start losing this fight. Shockwave does not manage to connect. Immortals get out in time. Liberty chasing after 1-for-1 on both ends.
And a disaster for Immortals. They lose Hoon, they lose the dragon. That's about as bad as it gets, really.
They still have the Rift Town, so maybe able to find some value somewhere
Well,
else.
they might trade here, right? But still, it's not a high-value trade. I think
Exactly.
more than anything, you want the mid lane turret. You don't want to allow... Okay, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
Look at
there we
Hoon
go.
now. You just get stuck because of the package. That's fantastic for boss.
You got two people running you down. Both
Yeah.
Kinzen, as well as Freaky, as well as Freaks running you down.
To be honest, Freaks was a little freaky with it in that last team fight. Right? Rift Herald
Yeah,
was
sure.
not used, but they do get the tier 1 top. So Rift Herald is safe from it. You really want to be using the Rift Herald on the Orianna's tower. You want to break the mid lane turret. You don't want to give her the safety of that tier 1 to just slowly wave clear, farm up behind.
But it picked up everything that is worth picking up right now. They got that top side turret without having to use the Rift Child, so Immortals could still look to try and use that later on.
Sure.
Small gold advantage over the Immortals, but we saw what happened there.
I feel like if Orianna shows in the Baron lane, that's your cue to use Rift Herald in the mid lane, because she's the primary wave clear. She's not there. Well, but neither are Immortals, I guess. We're just having one of those games, one of those times where we're chilling.
Ledmon is off towards the top side of the map, so not really
Oh,
able
they're
to
going
use
for
the
Hoon
Rift Child
again.
mid.
Okay, yeah, okay. They tried to make a play for Hoon, nothing's gonna happen. We're back to a farming game state. No more Rift Herald, so only the next dragon to fight for. I'm about to lose my mind, Grandin.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while before we get there.
It's 12 minutes and there are 2 kills? Yeah. This isn't right. Something's not right
No,
here.
we're going for late game. The late game is where it's at.
Okay, watch us say that, and then it's a 1 team fight and game over. Okay, here we go.
There we go. Catch on to Boss, and Boss
Be
has
more
no
excited.
escape. There we go. Kill 3 Immortals.
That's the highlight. Immortals get the kill onto Boss. Not sure why he was out there without a tier 1 turret. They're trying to answer on Zello,
All right.
but Garrett's tanky.
This is it. This is it. Liberty go on to Zello. Redemption comes across. Man of Freeze is still taking damage from the turret. They're pursuing for a kill, but Immortals
They're
route
gonna lose
away.
so much more. Look at the map right now. Immortals gonna get mid tier 1, maybe gonna get mid bot tier 2 as well. Look how tanky the cannon is. Oh, this is such a good trade for Immortals.
A very good job. Well done here by Hoon to pick up
Okay,
another turret
yeah.
for his team.
Hoon is doing really well. He's been having some really smart moments. You can tell, like, he's thinking about what he wants to do next.
Playing for that macro game. I am a little bit surprised that Immortals held onto the Rift Child and still using it in the mid lane though.
They didn't even need to. Wait, is it down?
No,
Okay.
it took down 1 turret.
Look, like, Boss should just never be there. Like, he is so far up, hugging the side on the river as well. It's just, frankly, he had a death wish.
There was no turret there to help him stay
Yeah.
alive. Yeah, there we go. They used the Rift Child in the
He
bot
has
side.
Howlbreaker granted. He's playing Dragon Lane Cocky with Howlbreaker Black Cleaver. He's just allergic to dealing damage.
That's a good way of putting it. Allergic to dealing damage.
I can't take credit for that one. I ripped it off.
Sure,
But still,
but it is still quite funny to hear.
thank you, Grandin.
Liberty,
I think it's the first time I
honestly,
made you laugh today.
genuinely,
I
like
live
a
for these
genuine
moments.
laugh. Liberty has still not in a lost state, right? It's still a very even game position. Zello now in
Not
an
again.
interesting
They're trying to
spot.
play for Zello.
Catch on the
Again?
mana from Mana Freeze. Zello will be able to sidestep them. Sentence does not manage to land. The bot side now, they're escorting the Rift Herald over. Mid side also sees pressure.
It's a bit of a
Two-man
stroll
try and
here for
push in.
Shelly. Shelly's going for a nice evening walk here.
It's a long walk
Lovely Singapore river bank.
along the edge of the map.
Yeah, she's not even going to get the charge. A bit unfortunate, but
All right, there we go. Goodbye, Shelly. It was nice knowing you.
do you have a eulogy for Shelly?
Yeah,
What would that be? Come on. you can do
spawned into the Rift. at 10 minutes.
This is gonna be something really depressing. Like we come from dirt and we return to dirt, isn't it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I actually, well, now I don't want to do it.
Did I ruin it?
I don't want to
So
do it
that
anymore.
means you did have something super cheesy.
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
Okay, well, 3 items getting completed by basically everyone on the Rift right now. But still, 3 kills. 3 items for everybody, and 3 kills.
That's the way.
One of those games.
That is the way.
But Dragon is coming up. This should be a big team fight. Koki is recalling for package. This is it, Grandin. It's what we've been waiting for.
All
It's
right.
do or die.
10 seconds on the Dragon. Package being picked up here for Boss. Position in favor of Liberty as they get ready for the Ocean Drake. Immortals coming in through the river. Topping up for a little bit of extra health. Kona will spot them out with the orb
This
and
is a
try
good
to
play.
decide what they want to do.
Immortals are doing a good job, but they get hooked.
Flash in, they get the lockdown, looking to take down Lepmon, but Lepmon has stasis and he will survive by
Package.
flashing away and back into the mid lane with his team. Zello going down, the Ignite gets it done. Boss with the credit for the kill. Immortals lose 1.
Immortals start off well. They identified that we need to shove out the mid wave first, but the teamfight positioning is too good from Immortals. Freaks on the flank, and Boss cuts them in half.
Look at this sustain, Immortals.
Gume
Heal up
flash.
so much more health.
Gumi flash right there. Yeah, they have the Senna. That's the power of the Senna pickup. Who now trying to do his best to clear out the waves, to be aggressive.
Engage
They're
comes
gonna win
through,
this.
they get the cash, Lepmon with the kill, jumps in, but he gets caught by the shockwave, it's come back up again. The leap reset baits him in. Immortals will lose 2 more.
I just can't tell who's winning. I have no clue who's winning at any point in time. It's such a close game between both of these teams. But did you just see that pop up? Did you just see Divine Sundra get finished for Koki? He's finally going to start doing some damage, and Death Cap as well. Let's look at how the second part of the fight happened. Gume flashed in, tried to get a root down, wasn't able to hit it. But it starts... Oh,
Okay, we gotta focus this one first.
he's
You know
not dead.
who?
He's tanky.
He's a hot worker. The hottest worker, some might say.
Oh, he's very tanky.
Wants to kill onto Freaks. No flash, relentless pursuit. Still a ways away.
My goodness, but it was a bait. They didn't actually want to kill Hoon.
They know the Baron has been started up.
No, they don't.
should
They
be
have
able
no
to see this.
clue.
Oh, it's too late. It's too late. It's gone. Baron over to Liberty. They take it away 17 minutes in, Omo.
I love how you see the Liberty player cams as well, and they're like kind of wanting to cheer, but they know it's still just a Baron. It's still early on, and then they're like restrained, fist bumping.
They're like, we can't cheer
yes,
or
nice.
Immortals will know we're taking the Baron.
No, but they got it already.
Yeah, but like before that as well. They're
Yeah,
like, we
that's
can't
true,
be
that's
too
true.
excited. You know, this is where the acting skills come in.
You know, it actually works out. You gotta be like, "Psst, guys, come do Baron right now. Let's sneak it. They have no clue. Come here now. Be
And
quiet."
I mean, you know, we saw Freaks pull so much attention away from Root.
Yeah, it was a really good bait.
That redemption could be used for Vision in the Baron
You know-
pit, but they used it to keep
Yeah,
Hoon
you were
alive.
talking about acting skills. I think we give Freaks a Grammy for Oscar, whatever, for that one.
Sure.
My brain is just not working at this point in time yet.
He deserves an award. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, one of those awards.
Let's see what
Okay.
happens here. Immortals now have to deal with Baron minion waves starting to crash in. They've done so much to get the waves set up in their favor, but it's so easily overturned here as Liberty pick up the mid side tier 2. Bot side tier 2 goes down as well.
Explosive cask is used as well, so no disengage tools for Immortals, and the minion waves come crashing in.
Redemption being popped. Immortals making a stand
Oh,
here.
huge!
Big shockwave catch onto Hoon. Look at the death sentence out from Mana Freezing. He does not miss these.
Does not miss these, and that's gonna be 2 inhibitors down for Immortals.
And execute onto Zello with 50 seconds left. I think Liberty can smell the win here. Flashing forward, a jump onto Lemon. Lemon gets away back onto the fountain, but Liberty find game number 1.
And what did I tell you, Grandin? One team fight, and we're done. That was all it took.
Was that
of
really a
Liberty.
team fight?
Well, there was one team fight at the Dragon, right? It was a
Sure.
very long and drawn out one, but after that, they snuck the Baron. And Liberty, even though they didn't have the best early game, even though they were very slow around the mid-game timings, didn't set up their objectives well. Once they hit their power spikes, the team fighting power, the explosiveness of Liberty, it was all irrelevant.
Marshall's open.
Kangas.
Is that a high
What?
five? What is this?
Are we doing
My
the thing?
face. My face. Go
Sorry,
lower.
okay.
There.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
That's what we were going for.
Oh.
I don't know why we were doing that, but I'm in. Is that the NA energy right there?
No, that's what they were doing after they won.
Oh.
Because
I didn't
earlier
notice.
when you were talking, Rico and I did the Sengoku coach thing.
Oh, we did.
So
So
while
now
she
is
was
our time to
talking,
leave
I
her
wanted
out
to
of
make
it.
sure
Ah,
that
the next
Appreciate
time
the
we should leave
explanation.
you out.
I want to go back to another thing that we noticed from that game. I'm very passionate about this, obviously, as I have a lot on the line. First off, Kona's damage, that is insane.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you notice, Charm's damage, not very high on the Gragas. Rod of Ages into the Crystalline Reflector, into Warmogs. Went for a very tanky Gragas that was farming up, and it was very quick that Gume started farming instead of just going for the stacks. And we were talking about this off camera. There's no AP on this composition. There's double Death's Dance on Liberty. It just further made that 5v5